And here at the library, we are using our makerspace to make masks for the staff during the COVID epidemic. And I thought I'd give you a step-by-step on the process we're using. So you're going to want 2 layers of a tightly woven cotton fabric. In this case, I'm actually using recycled sheets for the lining and then good quality quilter's cotton for the outside. Your outside fabric needs to be 10 by 7 inches. There are all kinds of patterns online, so you are welcome to use a different pattern if you prefer. So there's one in various sizes. And you are going to cut out a 10 by 7 inch piece of your outside. Fun for everybody involved. But the important thing is that it be 100% cotton and be tightly woven. Anything that's too loose is not going to provide enough protection. One way to tell is to hold it up to the light and see how much light you can see through the fabric. The more light it blocks, the better you are. And knit fabrics are more comfortable, but they do not block as many particles as a woven fabric does. So there's my outside piece. So my lining is going to be slightly smaller. In this case, my lining fabric is 9 1/4 inches by 6 1/4 inches. That means that when I fold over the hems, I don't have as much bulk, which makes it a lot easier to feed through the sewing machine. And yes, seamstresses at home, I am just using a plain old ink pen to mark this on the fabric. It's efficient, works well, and these are not going to be winning any state fair competitions, so. Cut that out too. Now, there are a number of different ways you can do these masks. You can use bias tape to finish them. You can use contrasting fabric to finish them. I've seen ones where you have a twist tie or something as metal for the nose. I don't have any twist ties, so we aren't doing that version. We're just doing a simple gathered rectangle. Okay, so there's my line fabric, and if I put it on top of the outer fabric, you'll see that I have an outer edge showing all the way around. So in order to make this as efficient of a process as possible, we don't want to have to sew the same seam twice, so we are going to try to get our elastic in there at the same time as we're sewing our seams. So you're going to want 2 7-inch pieces of elastic. And we are going to fold the outer edge, where the fabric, the base fabric shows, you're going to fold that over the lining fabric. And then fold that again. And that gives you a nice protective hem that keeps the edges from raveling. So right by where we fold, we're going to go ahead and stick in our piece of elastic. Have it overlap a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and pin that. There we go. And we're going to do the same thing at the other side. Fold over, and then pull that edge of that elastic around. And pin it in place. And a lot of patterns will tell you to sew this and then sew the pleats into it. Don't do more sewing than you have to. Do it all at once. Go ahead and put the pleats in right now. So you're just gonna put 3 little tucks in, maybe about 1/4 inch tucks. Just tuck. Doesn't have to be precise where they are. It is important to make sure that they face the same direction. So when I do them on the other side, I'm gonna wanna make sure that my over-unders match. So 1 tuck, and a 2nd tuck. third tuck. And like I said, the tucks don't have to be precise, but you do want to make sure that they are not too close to the elastic because you don't want to have them getting caught in your next hem when you do the next hem at the end. And now we're going to put our elastics and our tucks on the other side so that we can run it all through the sewing machine at one time. Fold, fold, pin in the elastic. Sure that the over faces the same direction when I do the tucks on this side. Make sure it's double. And tuck, and make sure that your tucks butt up against each other is fine, but you don't want them to overlap because if they overlap, it will be too thick to go through the sewing machine. We are ready to sew our first seam. So we're going to take this over to the sewing machine. Then attacking thread, tack it in place, and then just make sure that elastic is caught. And possibly run over your pins. This is a lot easier if you make sure you're sewing in the direction over the overs on the pleats. If you sew against the pleats, it can be a little difficult to get the fabric to fit correctly. There's one side sewn. Now we're just going to set the other side. Again, I'm going to make sure that I'm going over the pleats as opposed to going into the pleats because it will make the fabric buckle. And yes, seamstresses at home, I am sewing over my pins. Yes, I do break needles. It's easier than unpinning it. And then just trim off your excess threads from that step. Okay, so now we're ready to do the next part of the pinning. Make sure my elastics are caught. Yes, they are. Okay, so now we just have to pin, fold down this next hem. So we're just going to fold once and then fold over again. Pin that in place. And you can adjust the sizing of these masks. So if you try one and you're like, oh, I need that to be a little smaller, my head's small, you can certainly change the dimensions, change the amount of elastic you use. And of course, these can be made with regular just bias tape or fabric ties instead of elastic if you don't have elastic. Use the same technique, you'll just put a tie at each corner. are doing this with pretty fabric or the pattern matters, it doesn't hurt to make sure that the pattern's the right way up. If you're really trying to save fabric, you don't have to worry about that, but it looks more cheerful if it matches. Okay, so now I've got my outside hems pinned, and I'm just going to run that through the sewing machine. Make sure that's down. Didn't quite get this one pinned right. Let's fix that. There we go. Okay. And make sure you're right up at the edge and you get a tacking stitch in. And then do the same thing on the other side. Trim off your excess threads. Large bits. And there you are, one face mask ready to go.